Cognitive developmental theories. Cognition refers to the mental processes and activities related to acquiring, processing, storing, and using information. It encompasses a wide range of mental abilities, including perception, memory, reasoning, problem solving, language, and decision making. Cognition is essential for human intelligence in the way we understand and interact with the world around us. Metacognition is the ability to think about and have awareness of one's own cognitive processes. It involves monitoring and controlling your thinking, understanding your own thought patterns, and making judgment about your cognitive abilities. People use metacognition to plan set goals, evaluate their performance, and make adjustments based on their self-awareness. It's a crucial aspect of effective learning and problem solving. Schema is a cognitive framework or mental structure that helps individuals organize and interpret information. It's a way the brain categorizes and stores knowledge, experience, and expectations about various concepts, objects, or situations. Schemas influence how we perceive, remember, and understand the world around us. They are flexible and can adapt as we learn new information, but they also contribute to recognize bias and the tendency to filter new information through existing beliefs or expectations. Schemas are an important part of cognitive psychology and play a role in memory, problem solving, and decision making. Assimilation, in the context of cognitive development, is a concept introduced by Jean Piaget, a prominent psychologist known for his work on child development. It refers to the process by which individuals incorporate new information or experiences into their existing mental schemas or frameworks. Accommodation. Accommodation in the context of cognitive development is another concept introduced by Jean Piaget. It complements the concept of assimilation and is a key component of his theory of cognitive development. Equilibration. It refers to the process by which individuals balance their existing mental schemas, cognitive structure with new experiences or information. According to Piaget, cognitive development occurs through a series of stages, and equilibration is the driving force behind this development. Object permanence. Object permanence is a fundamental concept in developmental psychology, particularly associated with the work of Jean Piaget. It refers to a child's understanding that objects continue to exist even when they are no longer visible or present in their immediate sensory perception. Animism. Animism is a belief system of philosophical perspective that attributes consciousness, souls, or spirits to not only humans but also to animals, plants, natural elements, and even inanimate objects. In animistic belief systems, everything in the natural world is thought to possess some form of spiritual essence or life force. Transductive reasoning. Transductive reasoning is a type of reasoning that involves making connections between specific instances or events based on superficial similarities or associations, rather than relying on logical or abstract principles. It is often observed in young children and individuals who are in early stages of cognitive development. Symbolic function. The symbolic function is a cognitive milestone identified by Jean Piaget. In his theory of cognitive development, it's one of the key developments that occurs during the preparational stage, which typically spans from about ages 2 to 7 in a child's development. Egocentrism. Egocentrism is a cognitive phenomenon often observed in young children, where individuals have difficulty seeing things from perspectives other than their own. It involves a limited ability to understand or consider the viewpoints, thoughts or feelings of others. Centration refers to a child's tendency to focus on one salient aspect of an object or situation while neglecting other relevant aspects. In other words, a child who is exhibiting centration tends to center their attention on a single prominent feature or detail and fails to consider the broader context of multiple dimensions of the situation. Irreversibility. Irreversibility is a cognitive concept introduced by John Piaget, a renowned developmental psychologist, as a part of his theory of cognitive development. It refers to the idea that young children in the pre-operational stage of development have difficulty understanding that certain actions can be reversed or undone. Reversibility. Reversibility in the context of cognitive development and Jean Piaget's theory refers to the ability to mentally reverse or undo an action or transformation. It is a key concept in Piaget's theory of cognitive development, particularly in the concrete operational stage, which typically begins around age 7. Conservation. Conservation in the context of cognitive development is a concept introduced by John Piaget, a renowned psychologist known for his work on child development. Conservation refers to the understanding that certain physical properties of objects, such as quantity, volume, and mass, remain the same even when their outward appearance or arrangement change. Decentering. Decentering in the context of cognitive development and Jean Piaget's theory is the ability to consider multiple aspects, perspectives, or dimensions of a situation or problem simultaneously. It's the opposite centration where a child thinking is focused on only one aspect of an object or situation. Serition refers to actions, speech, or writings that incite or provoke others to rebel against, resist, or undermine the authority of a government, established order, or lawful authority. It typically involves effort to foment insurrection, promote discontent, or disrupt the stability and security of a nation or society. Hypothetical reasoning. Hypothetical reasoning, also known as hypothetical thinking or hypothetical deductive reasoning, is a cognitive process that involves making predictions or drawing conclusions based on hypothetical or imagined scenarios and logical deductions. It is a fundamental aspect of abstract thinking and problem solving. Analogical reasoning. Analogical reasoning is a cognitive process that involves recognizing and applying similarities between two or more situations, concepts, or problems. It is a form of problem solving decision making that relies on finding and leveraging analogies, which are comparison between things that share certain similarities. Deductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning is a logical process in which a conclusion is drawn from a set of premises or statements. It is a type of reasoning that moves from general principle or premises to specific conclusions. Deductive reasoning follows a structured and formal patterns and is associated with valid and sound arguments.
Jean Piaget's cognitive developmental theory. The important aspect of Jean Piaget's cognitive developmental theory is the idea of stages of cognitive development. Piaget proposed that children progress through distinct stages: sensory-motor, pre-operational, concrete operational, and formal operational, and that each stage represents a qualitatively different way of thinking and understanding the world. Piaget cognitive developmental theory consists of four main stages. First, sensory-motor stage, birth to 2 years. During this stage, infants and toddlers explore the world through their senses and motor skills. They develop object permanence, which is the understanding that objects continue to exist even when they are out of sight. Second, pre-operational stage, 2 to 7 years. In this stage, children develop symbolic thinking and language skills. They engage in pretend play and begin to use symbols and words to represent objects and concepts. Third, concrete operational, 7 to 11 years. Children in this stage become more capable of logical thinking and can understand concrete concepts and operations. They can solve problems using concrete objects and can grasp concepts like conversation, understanding that the quantity of a substance remains the same despite changes in its appearance. Fourth, formal operational stage, 11 years and older. This final stage marks the development of abstract thinking and hypothetical reasoning. Adolescents and adults in this stage can think critically, solve complex problems, and consider abstract ideas and concepts. The five Lev Vygotsky's social cultural cognitive theory. First, socialization. Socialization affects the learning process in an individual. It tries to explain consciousness or awareness as the result of socialization. This means that when we talk to our peers or adults, we talk to them for the sake of communication. Second, interaction. Intellectual development is a social process that occurs through interaction with others. Through this interaction, individuals engage in external speech, which enables them to organize their thoughts and regulate their behavior. Third, scaffolding. Focus on teacher practices. These defined as the role of teachers and others in supporting the learner's development and providing support structures to get to that next stage or level. Fourth, MKO. Vygotsky's theory places importance on guiding children's learning through their interaction with a more knowledgeable other, or MKO. The more knowledgeable other could be anyone with a greater understanding of the task or concept that the child is trying to complete or learn. Fifth, fade away technique. A technique in which, as the learners become more proficient, they able to complete tasks on their own that they could not initially do without assistance. The guidance can be withdrawn.
Intelligence and individual differences.
Mental age. The idea behind mental age is that some individuals may have intellectual abilities that are more advanced or less advanced than what is typical for their age group. For example, a child with a mental age of 10 might have the cognitive abilities typically associated with a 10-year-old. Chronological age refers to the actual number of years a person has been alive since their birth. It is typically measured in years and
This is a straightforward way to determine a person's age. For example, if someone is born on January 1, 1990, their chronological age would be 33 years old on January 1, 2023. Charles Spearman's general intelligence theory, often referred to as the G-factor, is a concept in the field of psychology that suggests there is a single underlying general intelligence that influences a person's performance on various cognitive tasks.
The general concept of intelligence as presented by Alfred and Simon Binet.
Specific abilities. These factors represent specific cognitive abilities that are unique to particular tasks or domains, unlike general intelligence, which is a broad measure. Specific abilities are narrower and apply to specific areas of performance. For example, specific abilities could include mathematical aptitude, musical talent, or verbal reasoning. Louis Leon Third-Stone theory of intelligence, known as the factor analysis theory, suggests that intelligence is not a single general ability, but rather a collection of specific mental abilities or factors. According to Thornstone, these factors include skills like verbal comprehension, numerical ability, spatial visualization, and memory, among others. Numerical ability, proficiency in mathematical operations and numerical reasoning. Spatial visualization, the skill to visualize and manipulate objects in space mentally.